Hey YouTube, this is PrimetimePokemon. In this video, I'll be reviewing and ranking all 13 Pokemon GX cards from the Lost Thunder expansion. Of course, Lost Thunder is the newest set in the Pokemon TCG and the largest of all time. This video is geared towards the competitive scene in the 2019 Standard Format. With 13 GX cards in the set, not all 13 are that competitive, but there are some very good ones for the competitive scene from Lost Thunder. Overall, Lost Thunder is about in the middle of the pack when it comes to the competitive scene. Personally, I still like Guardians Rising, Burning Shadows, and Ultra Prism better than Lost Thunder. So I'll get on to ranking and reviewing all of these cards. Now it is important to remember that this video just states my opinions, and if yours differ from mine, please let me know in the comment section of this video. Or you can always make a video of your own and share your thoughts on YouTube. So here's a look at all 13 regular GX in Lost Thunder on the Pokemon TCG Online. Now when it comes to ranking these cards, essentially, there are 5 good GX in Lost Thunder. The other 8 are not very good and definitely do not see much of a run in the competitive scene. So I can quickly go through the 8 GX that are not very good, and then I can jump more in depth into the 5 best GX from Lost Thunder. So these first 8 cards I'm just going through numerically with the card numbers from the set. So the first one here would be Suicune Gx. This is a basic Pokemon, so that is an advantage. 170 HP is a little bit low, however. It does have a low retreat cost, however it is weak to Fire-type Pokemon, so Blacephalon Gx can easily take down this card. 3 attacks on the card, Double Draw allows you to draw 2 cards, Sensitive Blade for 2 Grass Energy does 50 damage plus. If you played a supporter card from your hand during this turn, this attack does 80 more damage, so 130 total damage, can take down lots of one prize Pokemon out there. A Shining Lugia, a Dhelmise, a couple of examples there. And then its GX attack, Breeze Away, for 1 colorless energy says, put any number of your Pokemon in play and all cards attached to them into your hand. So that is a very useful GX attack, especially against something like a spread attack type deck that's spreading damage around. You can then just heal all of those Pokemon at once. You're going to want to try and use Suicune Gx in a deck that does not have a lot of evolution forms, because if you essentially Acerola all of your bench Pokemon, it is going to take a long time to get those Stage 1 or Stage 2 Pokemon set up again. Next up would be Magcargo GX. This one is a little bit better of the 8 that are not that good from Lost Thunder. 210 HP on a Stage 1, so a good HP. Its ability, Crushing Charge, says, once during your turn, you may discard the top card of your deck. If it is a basic energy card, attach it to one of your Pokemon. Then Lava Flow is the main attack. For 3 energy, it does 50 damage, and it says discard any amount of basic energy from this Pokemon. This attack does 50 more damage for each card you discarded in this way. So this is a great way to dole out major damage. The only problem is that you have to have the energy attached to Magcargo specifically. You can't use this with something like Naganadel, because Naganadel's ability accelerates energy to Naganadel only. And then Burning Magma GX for 1 fire energy says to discard the top 5 cards of your opponent's deck. So you could try and build a deck to make your opponent run out of cards in their deck, therefore allowing you to win the game. This card can also work well with the Magcargo that has Smooth Over on it. Next up here would be Suicune Gx, a legendary beast from the 2nd generation. 180 HP, so a solid HP for a basic. An ability on the card called Phantom Winds that says, Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is on your bench, you may shuffle it and all cards attached to it into your deck. The problem with this ability is that most of the popular decks out there can easily knock out Suicune in one attack. 2 moves on the card. Cure Stream for 3 energy cards does 120 damage, and it says during your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon's attacks do 30 less damage. And then its GX attack for 3 energy does 150 damage. Switch this Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. So if you used this card with a Choice Band, you could do 180 damage and knock out a GX in one move. But overall, not that great of a card in my opinion. Next up here would be Sigilyph Gx. This is the first GX from Lost Thunder that I actually had in my collection. A low HP of only 170 on a basic. Its ability is called Mirror Counter if this Pokemon is your active Pokemon and is damaged by an attack from your opponent's Pokemon GX or EX. Put damage counters on the attacking Pokemon equal to the damage done to this Pokemon. Now in theory that seems like a good ability, but essentially you're trading a prize card for a prize card, in this case 2 prizes for 2 prizes. The other 2 things on this card, 2 attacks, Sonic Wing for 3 energy cards, it does 80 damage, a pretty horrible move for a GX, and then Intercept Gx for 3 energy cards does 60 damage times the amount of energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. Well, this is a great move. You really only can use it once, and then you're back to using Sonic Wing, which does absolutely nothing. Next up here would be Tyranitar Gx, a Stage 2 GX. It does have a great HP of 250. A high retreat cost, however, and it is weak to fighting type Pokemon, so Buzzwole Gx would easily be able to knock out this card. Its ability, Lost Out, says, if your opponent's Pokemon is knocked out by damage from this Pokemon's attacks, put that Pokemon and all cards attached to it in the Lost Zone instead of the discard pile. So Rescue Stretcher is very popular out there, a good way to get your discarded Pokemon back into play. Lost Out takes care of that, which I really like. Dusty Ruckus for 3 energy cards does 130 damage. This attack does 30 damage to each of your opponent's bench basic Pokemon. If only it would be your opponent's bench Pokemon, this card would be much better. But 130 damage does knock out a lot of one prize Pokemon out there. Lay the Smackdown GX, sounds like a wrestling move to me, for 3 energy cards does 220 damage. This attack's damage isn't affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. So for the most part, its GX attack will get you 2 prize cards. But overall, again, for a Stage 2 Pokemon, this card really can't do that much. Next up here would be Genesect Gx. A pretty cool looking card, but not that great overall. 180 HP, so it is a solid HP. An ability called Double Drive that says this Pokemon may have up to 2 Pokemon Tool cards attached to it. If it loses this ability, discard Pokemon Tool cards from it until only 1 remains. So Choice Band is very popular. You could also use Choice Helmet, for example. 2 moves on it. Burst Shot for 3 energy cards does 130 damage. It would be better if it only required 2 energy to do 130. And then Breakbuster Gx does 190 damage for 3 energy cards. So you should be able to knock out a GX card with Breakbuster, especially with 2 tool cards attached to Genesect as well. But again, all of these GX cards that I've shown so far, not very popular and just not very good. Mimikyu would be next. I know there is a big fan base for Mimikyu in general. Another basic GX Pokemon that has a low HP of 170. This card does not have an ability, but it does have 3 moves. Perplex confuses the defending Pokemon. Let Snuggle and Fall for 2 energy does 10 damage plus 30 more damage for each damage counter on your opponent's active Pokemon. And then Dream Fear Gx says to choose one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Your opponent shuffles that Pokemon and all cards attached to it into their deck. So I do like the GX attack on this card. Very similar to what Tapu Fini Gx can do. But the first two moves on this one, not very good, especially for a GX Pokemon. The final, not that great GX card in Lost Thunder would be Lugia Gx. 190 HP, so it does have a better HP. 3 attacks, all requiring colorless energy, so it can be used in any type deck out there. Psychic does 30 damage, plus 30 more damage times the amount of energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. The next move does 170 damage, and then you can't use this move 2 turns in a row. And then Lost Purge Gx says to put your opponent's active Pokemon and all cards attached to it into the Lost Zone. So now we're getting into the competitive cards for the GX in Lost Thunder. So 5 good GX cards. The 5th best, in my opinion, would be Sceptile Gx. Mainly because you can not only pair this card with Sceptile from Celestial Storm and take down Ultra Beasts very easily, but because Grovyle has a great ability on it, allowing you to go and find any grass type Pokemon that you'd like once per turn. 230 for the HP on this Stage 2 GX. 3 moves. Mock Cut for 1 grass energy does 60 damage, plus it discards a special energy from your opponent's active Pokemon, so a special energy like a Beast Energy. Leaf Cyclone for 2 grass energy does 130 damage. Move a grass energy from this Pokemon to one of your bench Pokemon. So 130 damage is the right amount of damage to take down those somewhat powerful 1 prize Pokemon. Those that usually have 130 HP instead of 120. And then Jungle Heal Gx for 1 grass energy says to heal all damage from each of your Pokemon that has any grass energy attached to it. So the Sceptile decks that you may see out there are more of a defensive deck, preventing not only from attacking of Ultra Beasts, but preventing your opponent from actually knocking out one of your Pokemon. Next up here, the 4th best GX in Lost Thunder would be Shackled Gx. Now this is another card that is very good in a defensive type of deck. A low HP on Shackle, which is a bit disappointing. The main reason to use this card in a deck is for its ability, Protective Shell. It says prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon that have 2 or fewer energy attached to them. So if you can get Shackled Gx into the active Pokemon spot, you can easily shut down a deck like Lost March. Triple Poison for 1 colorless energy poisons the defending Pokemon, and you have to put 3 damage counters instead of 1 on that Pokemon between turns. And then Wrap Gx paralyzes the defending Pokemon plus does 40 damage. You can also use this Shackled Gx with Shackle that has the ability on it that allows you to discard energy from your deck, as well as Alolan Executor that does more damage for the number of energy that you have in your discard pile. Getting into the top 3 now. So the 3rd best in my opinion would be Zeraora Gx. I actually was very excited when the pre-release was happening and all the information was coming out for Zeraora Gx. I thought it would be even better. A great HP on the card of 190, and then 3 items on it. An ability, Thunderclap Zone, that gives all Pokemon in play of your own that have lightning energy a free retreat cost. Plasma Fist for 3 energy does 160 damage. However, you cannot use this card 2 turns in a row. It can't attack if you use Plasma Fist. And then Full Voltage GX for 1 lightning energy allows you to attach 5 basic energy cards from your discard pile to your Pokemon in any way that you'd like. So you can easily accelerate energy into play with this card. Zeraora Gx can be used on its own. It can be used with Rayquaza Gx and Vikavolt, and that is the option I like to use with Zeraora Gx. You add a Choice Band to Zeraora, and Plasma Fist can do 190 damage per turn and knock out a majority of GX cards in one turn. Top 2 GX now. The second best would be Blacephalon Gx. This is actually my favorite deck to build from Lost Thunder. I would say between Blacephalon Gx Naganadel and then Lost March. 180 HP, which is solid. 3 attacks on the card. Bursting Burn for 1 fire energy. Confuses and burns the defending Pokemon. Mind Blown, the main attack on the card, for 2 fire energy. Does 50 damage times the number of fire energy you move from your Pokemon to the Lost Zone. And then Burst Gx allows you to discard one of your prize cards. If it's an energy, you can accelerate it into play. So Burst Gx, turn 2 or turn 1 if you go second, can get you a prize card. And then Mind Blown does major damage. Now, the one deck that this card struggles against would be any type of deck that relies on one prize Pokemon, just because you only have so many energy in a deck and you move the energy to the Lost Zone, so you may run out of energy. But again, Naganadel helps accelerate energy into play, and then you can discard those energy attached to Naganadel and put them in the Lost Zone. So the best GX from Lost Thunder, in my opinion, would be Alolan Ninetales Gx. Now, this card isn't the best on its own, but it just works so well in so many different types of decks out there, all because of its ability, Mysterious Guidance. It does have a great HP for a stage 1 of 200, but its ability says, when you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may search your deck for up to 2 item cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand. You're seeing Alolan Ninetales Gx being used with decks like Zoroark Gx, Decidueye Gx, and really anything that can really do well by getting item cards. So Beast Ring is a great item card, rare candy. So if you're looking for a deck based on Ultra Beast or anything that is stage 2 heavy, you should definitely include the Alolan Ninetales Gx line in the deck. Plus, Alolan Vulpix, the one with Beacon, is a great way to get Pokemon you need into your hand. Other than that, Snowy Wind for 2 energy cards does do 70 damage, and it does do 30 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. And then Sublimation Gx for 2 energy cards says if your opponent's active Pokemon is an Ultra Beast, it is knocked out. And Blacephalon is an Ultra Beast, for example. Buzzwole is an Ultra Beast. So there are lots of ways to basically take 2 prize cards for only 2 energy. So this is a great card overall, and easily the best and most valuable card from the Lost Thunder expansion. So there you have it. There's my thoughts on the best GX cards in the Lost Thunder expansion. Again, 13 total. 8 of those 13 really have 0 use in the competitive scene. 5 definitely have some use, but easily Blacephalon Gx and Alolan Ninetales Gx are the best 2, and it isn't even close. So there you have it. Thanks everyone for watching. As always, before you go, make sure to check out all the links in the description of this video, including links to my blog, Facebook, and Twitter pages. So thanks everyone for watching, and stay tuned for more videos. Thank you.